Jay-Z and his high-profile lawyers feel like they can get away with anything. Well, the judge just completely laid down the law and put them in their place. Welcome to Popcorn Planet. I am Andy Signor, and I have an update for you regarding Jay-Z and his lawsuit with the Jane Doe. And my goodness, the lawyer just slammed him. I mean, the lawyer seems furious. You got to understand, this lawyer, Alex Spiro, is insanely expensive and has been putting a full court press out to cause doubt. And honestly, I think they did a pretty damn good job at doing so. It even made me wonder what's going on. It made me have questions for Tony. And honestly, all things can still be true that both these lawyers are lying and suck. But at the end of the day, they were trying to just have this case thrown out immediately because it didn't happen. And here's all the evidence, yada, yada, from this NBC News interview, which clearly Alex, I assume, had something to do with in outing this Jane Doe. But all of it, the judge wasn't having it. The judge was furious. We have the full order here. Let's go through it. On top of, not only was the judge very upset and giving a very stern warning to Jay-Z's very expensive, high-profile lawyers, Alex Spiro, they also agreed that, yes, Jane Doe can remain anonymous for now. Now, that could change. They did make a point in saying this could change, but let's go through this filing just so you can understand all that happened. All right, so going through as we get to the sort of, they basically start with the anonymity, talking about the motion to proceed anonymously. Here were all the sort of the non-exhaustive list of factors to be considered. As you can see here, 1 through, what is this, 10 of them. Here he says 1, 2, 4, and 7 weigh strongly in favor of anonymity. What are those? So let's go through. Whether the litigation involves matters that are highly sensitive and of personal nature, whether identification poses a risk of retaliatory physical or mental harm to the party seeking to proceed anonymously, or even more critically, to innocent non-parties. Then we have 4 and 7. These are the ones he particularly, whether the plaintiff is particularly vulnerable to the possible harms of disclosure, particularly in light of ages. And then number 7 here, whether the plaintiff's identity has thus far been kept confidential. Those are the ones that he said, yes, clearly those are all valid and should remain the same. But several factors weigh against the anonymity, and it goes in and sort of explain the fact that they've now sort of given media attention surrounding the case. The public has a substantial interest in this litigation, separate apart from its general interest in the accused, being able to publicly confront an accuser, etc. Nevertheless, at this exceedingly early stage in the case, the factors counseling against disclosure outweigh those of that counsel in favor of saying who the name is. So for now, they're saying, yes, we're going to keep it anonymous. Now, accordingly, plaintiff's motion to proceed anonymously is granted, but it's advised that because the balance of these factors will certainly shift in the case proceeds, especially if and when the parties engage in discovery in earnest, the court intends to revisit the decision in a future date. So saying at a certain point later, that could change, but for now, it's still moving forward, and yes, you can remain anonymously. Now, this is where things get more interesting, and I want to...
The case about Jay-Z's lawyer allegedly bribing a judge has gained a lot of attention because of the serious accusations and the controversy surrounding the events. Let's look into the details to understand what happened and why it's such a big topic in the media.
In this case, 17 days ago, he has submitted a litany of letters and motions attempting to impugn the character of plaintiff's lawyer, Tony Busby, many of them expounding on the purported urgency of this case. Self-promoting, accused him of extortion, requests to be heard on an expedited basis, accusing plaintiff's counsel of exploiting the legal process to generate media attention, asserting that plaintiff's counsel seeks only to benefit himself, requesting the shortening of a deadline from 21 days to 1 day, describing plaintiff's counsel as willing to blatantly violate the core ethical obligations of all attorneys, and requesting a hearing on a motion the following day. This is now, again, remember, this is the judge writing. Carter's lawyer's relentless filing of combative motions containing inflammatory language and ad hominem attacks is inappropriate. It's a waste of judicial resources and a tactic unlikely to benefit his client. Ouch! The court will not fast-track the judicial process merely because counsel demands it. I mean, thank you. Thank you. Alex's attempts out there are aggressive, and I think from the press release standpoint and the facts and all those things, it asks questions. But my gosh, the self-importance, right, of this Jay-Z and his team, they're above the law, is insane. The entitlement is off the charts. Let's continue. Moreover, although Carter's attorney assails plaintiff's lawyer as having a chronic inability to follow the rules, Carter's counsel has failed to abide by this court's clear rules. Under the court's individual practice of civil courts, with limited exception, a pre-motion letter is required prior to the filing of any motion. Although Carter's attorney stated that he intended to file immediately a motion to strike the first amended complaint, he did not give plaintiff the requisite 5 business days to respond. Wait for the court to set a motion schedule or state whether any exceptions to the court's individual practices applied. This is unacceptable. Counsel is hereby advised that any further motions filed in violation of the court's individual practices may be denied on that ground alone. So now he's basically saying, you've now run out of excuses. Enough. Done. Stop with these crazy PR motions, etc., that you're putting out there, because I'm not even gonna read it. It's gonna, if you don't follow the actual rules and stop saying Busby's not following the rules. Turns out Spyro is not following the rules, and if he continues to do so, whatever that motion is will just be rejected because he's not following the rules, regardless of what the motion is. That's a huge warning from the judge to shape up or else. Lastly, although Carter's attorney is entitled to file a Rule 11 motion without first seeking leave of court, the court discourages this approach. If he still intends to serve plaintiff with a motion for sanctions, the court denies his request to shorten the safe harbor provision contained within Rule 11 from 21 days to 1. Carter's motion to strike the amended complaint is denied. By January 10th, plaintiff shall file her response to Carter's motion for an order directing the preservation of evidence. By January 17th, Carter shall file his reply. Court clerk is respectfully directed to terminate the motions, blah, 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 blah. So ordered. So all of it thrown out. Everything Alex Spyro said it was going to happen. It's going to get thrown out. Where it didn't happen. I think I still have, do I have he was here. It was, I lost my button. Where's my button? Here it is.
The story begins with Judge Annalisa Tez criticizing Jay-Z's lawyer, Alex Spyro, for using provocative language and questionable tactics. Judge Tez, who is handling the case, called Spyro's actions a misuse of court resources and expressed disappointment in his behavior.
Somebody would be allowed to do this. They would make a mockery of a system like this. He's upset that this distracts and dissuades real victims from coming forward. He's upset that his kids and his family have to deal with this. He's upset, and he should be upset.
Will Mr. Carter say anything more specifically about Mr. Combs? He didn't really address him in his statement, but anything since outlets and internet speculation have tried to affiliate him, he didn't really, in his statement, specifically say anything about any of the allegations.
I mean, Mr. Carter has nothing to do with Mr. Combs' case or Mr. Combs. They knew each other professionally for a number of years, just like in all professions. People know each other. At the music awards, they support each other. If you go to the NBA All-Star game, they support each other. That's just how professions work. There is no closer association between any of them. That's also a matter of fiction. That's all that there is. He doesn't know anything about the charges or allegations against him. He has nothing to do with it.
The criticism arose from a high-profile lawsuit where an anonymous woman, referred to as Jane Doe, accused Jay-Z and Sean Diddy Combs of sexually assaulting her when she was 13 years old. The alleged incident reportedly took place after the MTV Video Music Awards in 2000. Both Jay-Z and Diddy have strongly denied these allegations.
The biggest story around the world seems to be Jay-Z being attacked in the elevator by Beyonce's sister Solange. It's leading on all the newscasts. Of course, it's a hot topic here, but it's amazing how the world has let go of everything else important and is talking about this. She is kicking his behind. And the security guard's trying to hold her back. Beyonce's next to Jay-Z in the corner. And I know you've seen this footage before, and you know that Beyonce waited a long time before she stepped in between them. Yes, she almost kicked him in his area, but he caught it. This was at, as you might know by now, the after party to the Met Gala. It was at a place here in Manhattan called the Standard Hotel. The hotel is upset because the footage even got out, because this is supposed to be a place that caters to celebrities. But who falls for that? You know, of course, this footage probably made somebody rich. The only thing that would make somebody richer is the person who's got the audio. Okay, so now, you know, I will just say that the people have been speculating and saying, well, why didn't Beyonce get in the middle? In my mind, Beyonce didn't get in the middle because Solange was probably attacking him over something that he knows he was dead wrong about, and therefore, sister didn't get in the middle. And a lot of people are also saying, well, Jay-Z really held his head because, you know, real men don't hit girls, except there's some footage online of Jay-Z hitting a female fan back in the day. Allegedly. The legal team is up there going crazy with the alleged button. The video, everyone, is 3 minutes and 27 seconds.